Okay, I think we have everybody. So we will get started. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Meghan Broz. I am the New England Institute of Technology Master in Speech Language Pathology Program Director. Thank you for coming. We have here with us Christine Vale, who is one of our faculty members. And we have Deborah Byerly, who is our Director of Clinical Education. And we have Andrea Henninger, who is our Student Success Coordinator. And we will all be kind of going through the information for you. And then we have Sarah Byrne, who is one of our IT marketing gurus, who is helping to make sure that this doesn't go off with any glitches. So thank you for coming to our webinar today. I think we're going to have Deb will be monitoring the chat as we go through. So if you do have questions, please feel free to use that function to let us know as we go through, and we can stop if needed. Or we'll look to answer things at the end. There might be things that we will be answering as we go through that will come up that we haven't gotten to yet. But just to start off, New England Tech's history and background. So New England Tech started as a certificate granting school, and then gradually, as you can see, grew and grew and grew to being now having over 2,500 enrolled students. We have a variety of associates, bachelor's, master's, and online degree programs. Our president, Richard Gauss, is the longest serving college president in the country, which is really cool. We have our 3 campuses in Rhode Island. The department, or the speech department, and the College of Health Sciences is primarily housed at the East Greenwich campus, where our dorm is also located. And classes and lab activities, anything, our immersion weeks will all be hosted at the East Greenwich location. The mission and philosophy of the college is important because it does go hand in hand with what our mission and philosophy is for the program. We're primarily a teaching college, meaning that our goal is to teach students first. Research is a secondary component at the college. Our primary focus is really educating our students and having them attain their degree in their respective field. We also work a lot with hands-on instruction. So we have both simulations and labs, as well as opportunities for students to have direct care or direct contact with clients in most of our programs. Our classes are very small for our online programs. There will be no more than 15 students per section. So in a cohort, a group of students coming in together and starting the program at the same time, there will be 30 students, but those will be broken up into 2 different sections of classes. For 15 in each class in an online format. We have a comprehensive academic skills support center, which has both in-person and online support for writing and math, and then different areas as needed. We have state-of-the-art simulation labs. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but we have for mostly our College of Health Sciences, but also other programs at the college. And then we have a variety of online degree programs. For the Master of Speech Language Pathology program, we started accepting applications as of July 1st, and the program itself begins in March of 2025. So the college works on 4 10-week terms, which is why it's that start date for the spring cohort would be March. So our accreditation status, we are in candidacy status. So we have completed our application and completed our site visit, and we have been awarded the opportunity for the next 5 years. We'll be working with the Council on Academic Accreditation, where we will be attaining our accreditation status, but we have been approved to accept students and begin that program as of March of 2025. So we've completed all of the qualifications. We do have the information here, and there is more information on the ASHA website should you want more information about that process or anything relative to how that impacts you. We are granted the authority to grant degrees, and your degree will be recognized by ASHA, and you meet the qualifications required to obtain licensure. So it just means that we're an early developing program, and so the CAA is helping to partner with our program to ensure we meet the standards set forth as we go forward. But it does meet the requirements for a CFY and for your ability to apply for the CCC-SLP through the ASHA process and to complete the practice. The program mission, again, aligns very seamlessly to the college mission and philosophy. We're looking to help support students in a variety of areas within the program and within the field. So the program will work to have you graduate as a generalist clinician that's very multifaceted. We provide that hands-on instruction. We will have synchronous and asynchronous components to all of the courses. The goal is that students will gain strong clinical skills. Clinical outplacements will be completed in the home communities. Looking to have you make connections within your geographical area, which is only going to serve you when you are going back out into the workforce once you've completed your degree. And then the ability to apply the knowledge and skills to any aspect of the field. We know that the field of speech language pathology is so multifaceted that you can work in pediatrics in voice, and it can be very different working with adults in voice, and it also can be very similar in some ways. So our goal is to have clinicians come out with a wide variety of skills that will allow them to specialize once they move forward in their programming and in their job searching. These are our program objectives. Again, things we're hoping that our students expecting our students to leave with. Being a leader, having advanced knowledge in all areas of prevention, assessment, and intervention in speech pathology. Really focusing on supporting cultural competency for linguistic diversity. And then, really being experts in communication in all aspects of your career and your in the field. Where we have a component where we have paired with Tech Access of Rhode Island, which is a company that provides assistive technology supports and services in the state and is also part of a New England collaborative to do so. And so our students will come out with an advanced level of training in augmentative alternative communication and assistive technology just by having that exposure through most of the coursework, as well as the opportunities to partner with those agencies. And again, just really working on having our clinicians learn about the process and be strong in their ability to make clinical judgments using those clinical skills across a wide variety of areas. Some of the details, it is distance education, but we would be considered hybrid because we do have 2 immersion weeks that we're going to talk a little bit about more in the future. The university operates on 4 10-week terms per year, so we're not a semester-based college. It's our 4 terms. We start in summer term, which is where we are right now, so July until the end of September. And then we have fall term, which goes end of September to December. We have a break around the holiday season, the beginning of the year. We start winter term in January, that runs through the beginning of March. And then we start spring term in March of 2025 is when we will be starting, but March through June is our spring term. The curriculum for the program is a fixed curriculum, so everyone takes all of the classes and in a specific order. And like I said, we're expecting to have about 30 students per cohort with 2 sections of each class and 15 students per section. Our expectation is to offer both a day and an evening course, so a section of each, so that people can, do their best to work it around their schedules as much as possible. Here's an outline of the curriculum. It's 10 terms, so over 30 months, and the courses you'll be taking. It does begin off with 2 courses in that first term as people get acclimated. There are some academic courses that are strictly based on content area to address the big 9 areas in speech language pathology, so articulation, language disorders, AAC, social communication, cognitive communication, all of those different areas. And then as we build into the following terms, we have courses that there's 3 courses per term. And again, like I said, it's that fixed curriculum, so you will take them in this order. And you can see that we have some clinical-based classes. So for example, one of the first classes is SLP 510. It's an introduction to clinical methods in speech pathology. And then it's built upon by clinical methods 1 in term 3, clinical methods 2 in term 4, and that includes an immersion week. And then building on to the rest of the immersion weeks, clinical methods 3, immersion week 2, and then the rest of the academic and content courses. The last 2 terms also include some seminar courses into professional education, again, in pediatric and adult. So some of the things, if we go back a little bit, you can see that the builds from pediatric-based coursework into adult-based coursework, and this aligns with the clinical placement. So there are classes that go along with introductory and advanced outplacements. So we start off in pediatrics. So in term 7, you would begin an introductory outplacement in pediatrics. And that's where Deb's going to talk a little bit more about that, but some of the clinical hours are obtained, and the expectations are a little bit more about somebody who's just beginning to have delved into the array of opportunities within a pediatric placement. And then same thing, we do an introductory placement for adults. And then we have advanced outplacements in pediatric and adults where the expectations are higher for what the student will be completing during those times. Distance education program. So we will, like I said, have synchronous portions that will be evening and daytimes. And we're really working, the synchronous components will be mostly comprised of opportunities to engage in what they call community of practice. So where we're going to be looking to have you engage the same way you will be engaging with your colleagues, to problem solve difficult cases or to present information. So most of the time you'll be completing activities and assignments outside of class and then coming to class to engage in collaborative discussions with your colleagues and with your instructors about the content and applying that clinical knowledge. It would be very limited in terms of like lecture and things like that. That is all going to be expected to be done on your time, under your own schedule. And then the synchronous components will really be where we'll be working together to get through some of those clinical skills. Like I said, the activities and clinical placements will be in your home community, and then we will have some opportunities for simulation and telehealth as we go through as well. So I think Deb is going to take over from here.
So as a big part of our program, getting your master's degree, you're earning clinical hours throughout the program. So our intention is that you're going to earn these hours through immersion weeks, clinical simulation, and leveled clinical outplacements, as Megan was just speaking about. So the immersion weeks will be 2 weeks over the course of our programming, and they will occur in term 4 and term 6. And you'll be given plenty of information about those at the onset of the program. The clinical simulation that we'll be using will be based in your coursework. So each class as we go through will probably target different content areas, and you'll go through simulations with that and debrief with your instructor as you complete those simulations, and you'll earn hours through that. And then the outplacements, there'll be 4, as Megan just went through, 2 pediatric and 2 adult. And so in that, you'll be able to earn your hours, 400 hours. How do you get the clinical placement? So right from the beginning of the program, we will begin to explore your geographical area and determine possible placements for you, both pediatric and adult settings. So we have questionnaires that we'll fill out together and start developing that information. We will look at things that maybe connections that you already have in your home communities, or connections that the university might have as well in your home communities. There are several other programs here at New England Tech that place our clinical counterparts in various settings across the country. And then I would reach out to those placements and secure the placement for your internship. And that's how we develop that relationship. But it starts very early on so that we're all planning and programming from the get-go. The immersion weeks, to kind of break out a little bit more, as we said, they're in week 2 of term 4 and term 6. And you are required to come to campus and be part of that placement, because here's where we're starting to develop your clinical plan for you. Your clinical experiences will be here on campus as well as in our surrounding community. As Megan talked about, Tech Access is one of our partners, so maybe there's some hours to be gained there. Maybe we have you go out to a school or to a clinical setting. So those will happen around the community here in Rhode Island and maybe Massachusetts or Connecticut, but within a short distance from campus. And as we said, we want to develop the clinical skills. They'll be tailored around the content and the curriculum that you've been exposed to. And we're going to develop, your assessment abilities and your treatment abilities and your ability to do case intakes and the like. So at the end of that week, you'll really have a sense of where your clinical skills are. And we've developed a plan with you, maybe some content areas we want to work on and develop a little bit more. So it will be a very wraparound, immersive week.
So throughout the program, you will see a link to the assistive technology thread. And then again, we've mentioned this a couple of times, but we have that partnership with Tech Access Rhode Island. So each course will have a component where you'll learn a little bit more about the world of assistive technology, either augmentative alternative communication or general assistive technology that will be relative to your practice as a speech language pathology. And so that will just give you, there's no certification or anything additional, but it's a little bit of something that will be an extra that you have as a clinician in your pocket, because there's going forward, you can see that there is a very limited set of clients that we have, or a limited caseload that you have where you not have experience or exposure to some type of assistive technology or AAC. And it's a vast part of our field. And so we're just hoping to prepare clinicians a little bit more to be able to step into that role as somebody that has that background knowledge as the speech language pathologist. So you'll see that kind of consistently throughout coursework and throughout some of the cases and the immersion weeks as well. So information about applications. If you want to apply and you have an undergraduate degree in communication disorders, this is what you need. A minimum GPA of 3.0 overall. If your GPA is a 2.5 to 2.9 overall, we would look for that GPA in your communication disorders courses of 3.0 to be considered. You are also required to have 3 credit hours in each of the following areas: a physical science, so either physics or chemistry, a biological science that's human or animal, but not communication disorders related. So in our communication disorders courses, we all take, anatomy of the speech and hearing mechanism or something. That's required for your undergraduate degree, but you need an additional course in biological science that's like Bio 100 or Bio 101. A statistics course, and then a behavioral or a social science course. If you do not have an undergraduate degree in communication sciences and disorders, you need to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited college, and it can be in any field. And then you will have needed to have taken the prerequisite or the leveling coursework in communication sciences and disorders. So this is at least 18 credit hours covering the following areas: the basic communication processes and audiology, anatomy of the speech and hearing mechanism, phonetics, speech and language development, speech and hearing science, and audiology. And some programs might have differences in their coursework, but this is the general requirements, and then it has to hit that 18 hours. Again, we're looking for the GPA in communication disorders of at least 3.0. And then again, you need those 3 credit hours in physical science, biological science, statistics, and behavioral or social science. Everyone who wants to apply has to have completed the 25 hours of guided observation in speech pathology per the ASHA guidelines. So if you don't have this at the start of your application process, it is something that would be conditional, and it could be something that you could apply and just say, I'm in the process of completing this. That's fine. But before you're allowed to start in our program, this has to be completed. We would also look for you to submit a current resume, 2 letters of recommendation, a personal statement discussing your experience in the field with people who have disabilities, what's motivating you to seek your master's degree, and any relevant information. There's actually a specific form with a rubric and with some more specific information about what's required in the personal statement that will be provided to you from the admissions officer. So that would be more specifically outlined when you get that packet or when you reach out to admissions here. And then once we've reviewed that you have all of the paperwork and all of that information included, then there's the interview with the program director and faculty via Zoom that is completed as part of that process. So kind of an overview of the admission process: you would submit the online application, submit all the required paperwork and admissions documents. There will be additional paperwork for clinical placements in terms of what you're required to have for Department of Health regulations and things to be able to be allowed to work and complete your clinical outplacement settings. For admissions only, the health and immunization record completed by the physician are required, and there are specific things included in that. Again, our admissions officer will provide you with more specific written information about all of those different things. You do need CPR certification. You need your transcripts showing your degree completion, and then any other transcripts that show part of the coursework that's required, and especially all of the programs where the prerequisite information is required. And then if your academic background is not English, the results of the TOEFL are required. So program cost in general, it's 86 credits and about $800 per credit. There is university applicable fees, so your admissions officer would provide you with that information. There is, for our program specifically, a one-time additional fee of $125 for a Calypso client, which is the hours tracking software where you will track your clinical hours. This is something you will have access to for the rest of your career if needed, but it will allow you to be able to have access to those hours. So when you do go to apply for state licensure, you could very easily gain access to that. And that's why it's that one-time fee for that lifetime access. And then your books would be purchased by you as well. I believe this is where Andrea is going to come in and tell you a little bit about some of the supports we have in the program and at the university.
So hi everyone, as Megan introduced me, I'm Andrea Henninger. I am the Student Success Coordinator at New England Tech. I work with all of our students who are in online programs, graduate programs, and basically I am your academic advisor. So I'm here to help with course registration, making sure that you are on track to graduate. I'm here to answer any questions you have about acclimating to the school, connect you to any resources that you may need as a student. If you need accommodations, we do offer them. I'm the person that you would initially reach out to kind of start that process of requesting them. And I also do work very closely with your faculty. So we really want to come across as having a team approach. So you can always contact any of us at any time should anything arise that might interfere with your studies, or if you have questions about the curriculum or things like that. One of the resources that is available to you as a student is the Academic Skills Center, which I know we did touch upon earlier in the presentation. But we actually do have a writing tutor here on campus. Her name is Connie. And she works with students who are in graduate programs. So she's very familiar with the level of writing that is required of you in graduate school. And she is available either via in person or virtually. So she is a really great resource to students. She can help with any stage of the writing process, from just brainstorming to proofreading to organizing your thoughts. She's great. And then they also have tutors who, again, are available in person or virtually to help if you need help with like any math or science courses. Yeah.
Great, thank you, Andrea. Couple other things, you will have a faculty advisor who is assigned to you, and this person will just be specific to things relative to the field, right? So if there was anything, like Andrea said, relative to registering or problems in classes or things like that, she would handle all of that. But then there would be somebody that you could just check in with to be like, hey, you know what? I'm really interested in, craniofacial abnormalities. Like, how do I get more information about that? Or where do I get this? And that would be a faculty advisor who is working as part of the team to just help make your experience and your career really into what you want it to be. You also will have our clinical education coordinator, or director of clinical education, who will be supporting you in those outplacements. They will be in contact with you as well as your clinical outplacement supervisor. So if you were in a public school, for example, the speech language pathologist who is overseeing you in that public school setting would be connected to both you and then the university through that clinical education coordinator or director of clinical education, in terms of making sure that your placement was getting the hours you needed, if you had any problems there, or if you had difficulty with scheduling or anything like that. So there would be a direct connection for supporting you in those outplacements. While you will be geographically located where you are, you will still be consistently connected to the university through that process. And then as part of the program, we will be providing praxis preparation support, both the coursework and how things are aligned, as well as a specific training opportunity for that prior to you leaving our program. So where can you get more information? We have our website. You can get more information. We have both Facebook and Instagram pages, or you can email me directly. My email is there. You can also contact our admissions department, and they can connect you to me directly or any of us directly if you have specific questions. But most of the program, the curriculum, the outline of all of that is on the website. All of the information about immersion weeks. There's a whole slew of frequently asked questions or question and answer pages that answers some of the nitty-gritty questions, some of the details, but also myself and anybody else in the program would be more than happy to give you more information or answer questions going forward. And I don't know if we've had anything come up in the chat or anything. But if you do have questions, we'll hang around for a few minutes and you can feel free to enter them into the chat. If not, we will be emailing a copy of this presentation to you so that you have all of this information at your fingertips, and you can reach out through either the website or through my email at any time with questions. And we appreciate you all coming, and we hope to see your applications coming across our desk soon.